Hey, this is Dan, your pain-free coach, and I really appreciate you entering your email address to get this video training series about what's really causing your pain. Now, in the next videos, I'm going to actually get into a lot of proof about what I'm going to teach you here in this video. I'm also going to share with you my story of pain, 11 long years of it, and how I got out of pain and what you can perhaps do to get yourself out of pain as well. But here's what I promised you. In this video, we're going to teach you what I call the pathway to pain, and it's really what's going on in the vast majority of pain syndromes. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in pain or what your diagnosis is or what your discs look like or anything like that. The program I'm involved in has handled seemingly impossible cases and gotten people out of pain. So I would encourage you to put aside your skepticism, put on your fascination hat, and try to see how this stuff relates to you and try to see why it makes so much sense. So this is the pathway to pain here, and some of this stuff's going to sound a little bit weird, and I'm going to try to make it relate to real life here. So what is really going on here? What's really going on that's causing the vast majority of pain is something we like to call a psychophysical activity. And what that means is that there are thoughts and emotions that change the body physically. Now, before you go getting upset, that doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean your pain is imagined. It doesn't mean anything along those lines. What it means is that the brain, the emotions, and our thoughts are able to create real physical changes in our bodies. Now, give me an example of that. How about blushing? You know, if you get really embarrassed, what happens to your face? Instantaneous, your face gets red. That's a dramatic change to the blood flow in your face as a result of something like an emotion. Okay? How about when you get up to stand in front of a group of people and give a speech or a presentation? Wow, a lot of people get the shakes and they get nervous and they get sick to their stomach. Some people even throw up. Those are real physical changes to your body as a result of emotions called fear, right? How about almost getting into a car accident? You know, you narrowly escape an accident. You don't hit anything. There's no trauma. But what's going on? Your heart is pounding in your chest. You're out of breath. Your hands are shaking. You might break into a sweat. How about anger? Your face gets red and your heart starts pumping and you start clenching. Those are all examples of how emotions change our physical bodies every single day. It's common as can be. So a psychophysical activity here really just means that there's something happening psychologically, and it is creating a real physical response in your body. This is not imagined. This is a real change to your body. So again, don't think I'm calling you crazy or that you're imagining any of this. And I know that that's something many of you folks are going to do because I did it myself. I took great offense when somebody tried to tell me that I wasn't broken, that my body wasn't at cause. It is at cause, but it's not originating where you think. So this psychophysical activity is really created when it comes to pain syndromes. It's really caused by unbearable, repressed emotions buried in the subconscious. Now, what does that mean? That means that throughout our lives, every day, from childhood through current times, we've got a lot of things that are going on in our lives that they cause anger, they cause rage. But for the most part, we're good people, and we don't like to exhibit anger or rage. So, well, I'm not going to complain about that about my boss. I'm not going to say what I think to my boss or to my spouse or family members or whomever. So we swallow it. We basically say, I can't deal with that, and I'll just push it down into our subconscious, and we don't deal with it. That's called repression. We've been taught to do that very, very well throughout our lives. And this doesn't mean you need to go out there and start screaming and raging at everybody who angers you. But there is an amount of repression that we all have and it can manifest itself in some problems. So the psychophysical activity is caused by these repressed and unbearable emotions. And those emotions further create changes to our autonomic nervous system. Now, what's the autonomic nervous system? It's the parts of our nervous system that manage all of the things that we're not consciously aware of, like our breathing, like our heartbeats, like our digestion, like anything, our hormones and insulin and everything else. The autonomic nervous system manages all of that. And what I'm here to tell you is that these unbearable emotions can create, not unlike blushing can create a change to your blood flow, these unbearable emotions create a change to your autonomic nervous system, which is a very real physical thing. It's not imagined. And that further causes a constriction in your blood vessels, which creates a reduction in blood flow. Okay, so while blushing creates an abundance of blood flow to your face, this actually creates a constriction, a tightness, tension, the stress of carrying around all of these unbearable repressed emotions creates this change to the autonomic nervous system, which creates a reduction in blood flow. And when there's less blood, guess what happens? That creates a mild oxygen deprivation. Now, this mild oxygen deprivation is not damaging. It doesn't create permanent injury to our bodies. It's very mild, maybe 3 to 5% reduction in blood flow. But again, with less oxygen, that can then result in, and here's the payoff, that can result in pain, muscle spasms, which many of us have had, burning, tingling, numbness, weakness, etc. Any type of symptoms that you've got, migraines, tension headaches, you name it. So what I've just drawn out for you is a map of how the seemingly innocent emotions that we deal with and that we repress all day long can really start to create this pathway from the emotions to the changes in our body, very real physical changes, to a mild oxygen deprivation, and then whammo, symptoms. We've got that. Now that we know what's truly causing it, I'm going to get into it in the next video. I'm going to provide you a lot of proof, real medical proof, medical studies in the medical journals that are world-renowned, that is going to prove that this is really what's going on in the vast majority of people. And how do we know that? Because people get out of pain despite having herniated and bulging discs and surgeries and you name it. Whatever their pain is being blamed on, we can get them out of pain by focusing here. This is the true cause. Most medical treatments go after the symptom of pain. They're trying to treat the pain. But that's like replacing the motor in your car because you're out of gas. It's not going to work unless you put gas in. So you can do all you want to try to treat the pain. Unless you're actually addressing what's causing it, you're not going to get out of pain. As you've known, as you've seen, many of you guys have been in pain for years, decades, had every type of medical procedure known to man, every type of drug, you've tried it, only to find moderate success or temporary success. And here's a couple of clues. When it comes to your pain, tell me, has your pain ever flared up as a result of emotions or stress or anger or rage? Have you ever gotten really pissed off and all of a sudden your pain is through the roof? Okay, so there's a clue. Go back and look at your pain history and see whether or not the onset of your pain originally or the flare-ups that you've had throughout your life have correlated to emotionally traumatic times in your life. I'm willing to bet that you will find a lot of connections between traumatic emotional times of your life and the onset or flare-ups of pain. Now, the other thing I will share with you is, how does pain become chronic? Let's say this happens once. Shouldn't be a big deal. When the stress passes, whatever, you should be fine, right? Well, in the olden days, 50 years ago, most pain syndromes came and went. They mostly resolved themselves inside of 4 to 8 weeks. And the biggest problem that we have right now today is this advanced medical imaging technology that's available. Because if you feel pain and you go to the doctor, they're going to want to look at your body, x-rays, MRIs. And what do those things tell us? They will show all sorts of abnormalities, and then they say, there is the reason for your pain. Well, here's what I'm telling you. Those imaging studies now create this feeling in you, and you even have an authority like a doctor saying, you're broken. Look, right here on this MRI, right there, that's a bulging disc, and you're broken, and you're going to have to be careful. Don't bend this way. Don't lay that way. You better get a new mattress. Don't sit funny. You know, you better get a cushion for your chair. I followed that path for a lot of years. Led me nowhere. So it's so easy today with today's modern imaging technology to become convinced that you're broken. Then your fear and your anxiety and your stress about the pain adds to this whole cycle. So once you get the pain, and once you get fearful and anxious about it, and now you're programmed into believing you're broken, that just feeds more unbearable emotions, which kind of locks in this system, and it creates a vicious loop. And you've actually trained your nervous system to keep you in pain, even though there was no real structural cause in the beginning. So I know this sounds like a big leap of faith, but it's actually accurate thinking. It is not pseudoscience. This is backed up by medical studies, and I'll prove it to you in the next video. I'm going to share a whole bunch of facts and figures with you that are going to leave you very astounded. So what I'd like for you to do now that you've watched this video is just take a little bit of time. There's actually a downloadable quiz as well as a pain history document. Download that, complete it. That's your homework between now and tomorrow when I get you the next video. And I really want you to start to connect the dots between your emotional world and your pain. When did it start? When did it flare? What was going on in your life? Whether it be death of a parent, death of a spouse, divorce, you name it. Anything major, traumatic emotionally, you'll oftentimes find that the pain correlates to that. Some people got into pain early on in teenage years or later in life. It doesn't really matter, but take a look at that. Do that pain audit, do the pain history, and then take this thing called the DPS quiz, Diversion Pain Syndrome Quiz. The theory here is that the pain is created to divert you from these unbearable emotions. So we have a quiz, and that will also allow you to understand whether or not your personality type and your history means that you're prone to this. So it'll give you an answer, and that'll tell whether or not you likely have this going on. So go ahead and download down below the DPS quiz as well as the pain history and the pain audit. And I will see you tomorrow in the next video where, again, I'm going to give you lots and lots of proof that what I'm talking about here is the real deal. So thanks again. I am Dan Buglio. I am your pain-free coach. I hope you find these videos helpful, and I will see you tomorrow. Go ahead and do that homework. Download it below. Talk to you soon. Thanks.